The stream is always chill, no drama. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, dude. Sometimes the drama finds us, but we do our best. We do our best.
No, the most recent drama is that you haven't made any tips videos yet, sir. How is Baby Raiders supposed to learn? Clickbait YouTubers?
I'm sorry. I'll get on that. That's on me. I have no excuse. Hi! Cohh here with some tips on Arc Raiders. Hopefully you've been enjoying the game as much as I have. A lot of people have been asking me questions like, what are some great tips for new players? So I'm gonna give you some. Let's get started. First of all, this is a PVPVE game, which means you'll be doing a lot of shooting and you'll be getting shot a lot. But it's also a sandbox, which means that there's lots of things that can happen in this game that you may not be expecting. So one of the big first things that I recommend is keep in mind, you don't just have to shoot everyone you see. Yeah! Dang it! We did it! It happened! Woo! Thank you, friends. Oh my God. Amazing. Amazing. On PC, you can hold down the G key, or there's a proximity microphone, and saying in chat you are friendly, or stating your intention, or saying what you're doing can sometimes lead to some very interesting gameplay in this game. So don't get me wrong, it's fine to go in and just shoot everyone you see and take all their stuff. But it's also fine to go in and utilize your microphone to actually talk to people, maybe find some people in the solo queue to run together, and then all of a sudden you're in a little squad with 3 friends and you're all having a great time together that you've never met. A lot of, like, I'd say the majority even have been really positive. Yeah. But I mean, it's a PvP game. A lot of people are not interested in any type of diplomacy, and that's just fine. Part of the game. Like that guy right there, for instance. He third person kicked my ass so hard, I could feel it burning into my face. So pretty cool stuff, and be sure to check that out. Another big thing in this game is that you are going to get inundated with loot all the time. And sometimes it's a little hard to tell what you need and what you don't. One of the best things you can do in this game is use the tracking system. If you ever have a bench that needs to be built or one that needs to be upgraded, you'll see that you have this little button down here that says track resources. Make sure you are always tracking the resources of every bench you need to make and every upgrade you need for them. Once you've created a bench, you have to go back into the bench and click the level upgrade tab, and you'll see the required items and a level up button and a tracking button here as well. So all of your benches can not only be built, but can then be ranked up to 3. So make sure to be tracking the items you need and kind of going from there. Another good rule of thumb, if you have the stash space, consider keeping a stack of all valuables on you. Now, I'm not going to tell you go Google what valuables you need, because you're going to need a stack of some random valuables for future progress, including expeditions and some level ups. And you can do that if you want to. You can just go Google and see the exact list of items you need to be storing. But if you're like me and you don't necessarily want to do that, a good rule of thumb is just kind of hold on to a stack of valuables. And that way, whenever you need them, you'll have them there waiting for you to be used. I had wished that I had done that at the beginning, and I didn't. And I later had to go back and farm for some stuff that I definitely sold to a vendor. So just keep that in mind. When it comes to your skill tree, a lot of the end game skill caps in this game are not super good. So picking like end game skills and working towards them is not the best way to level up in this game. Now, there is one particularly good one, which you will see me use all the time, which is Security Breach. This allows you to get access to certain containers that have very good loot in them currently. I think this might be changed in the future because it's kind of like a needed skill. So, but I mean, this is the one I went to at the beginning, and I definitely recommend it. However, keep in mind, the survival tree is the weakest one for things that it's going to allow your character to be better in the game. So there is no respecking in this game, only expeditions, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But one thing to keep in mind is you can bounce around trees, and some of the early things you can get in other trees are in some cases far better than some of the later things. So for instance, these right here are incredibly powerful in this game. This is Marathon Runner, moving around costs less stamina, and Youthful Lungs increases max stamina. When I expedition my character, which is going to reset him, I am not going to go into this first. I'm going to go into this first, because this is far more important for survival and getting around than getting a little bit of extra loot 6 levels earlier, or however many levels you put into this stuff. These are also really good. This makes you less falling damage. This one lets you slide faster. And over here, we have some really good ones like this one, letting you breach things quicker, which is huge, obviously. And there's also some great stuff down here as well to look into, but that's more a little bit dependent on how you're playing the game. So if you prefer like heavier shields, if you prefer melee, things like that, then there may be some stuff in here that you want to look at. Or if you play with a squad, some of these are really good for squad play, like things that make you stay downed longer and give you more defense while you're downed. Not really too useful for solo, but very useful for squad play. So keep that in mind. Also good things to look at. Keep in mind, there are some things that allow for in-round crafting as well as more in-round crafting stuff. This can be really cool. But like I was mentioning earlier, a good thing to do is when you look at this at the beginning, kind of mouse over and look at everything and just kind of see if any of it kind of speaks to you. Because a lot of these perks are more specific to certain gameplay types than like being the best version of that kind of thing. Another thing to pay attention to in this game, especially if you're going to be playing long term, is the trials system. Every week, there are 5 different things that you can do to kind of give yourself extra challenges in the round. Keep in mind that all of these are per round. So when it says damage wasps, this number right here has to be that many wasps or that much damage to the wasps in a single round. It's not just like, you know, kill a wasp, extract, and you're going to see those stars go up. It has to be in one round. Another big thing to keep in mind is when you are picking a map, look at the top right and you will see if that map has a modifier for extra raider score. So electromagnetic storm, you can see the 2x up here. Night raid, you see the 2x up here. A normal run does not have that. So what happens is when you do these specialty maps, your exact same amount of work is going to get 2 times the score in here on those maps. So if you do a carryable on a map that does not have a modifier, you will get 500 per turn in. If you do the deliver carryable on a night map, you will get 1,000 turn in. So that's the difference of having to do 4 turn-ins on a night map or 8 turn-ins on a regular map. Something to keep in mind. Another quick thing, once you work on this system, they will all add up to a score. That's your score up here. That will put you on a local leaderboard. This is not every player in Ark. I am not the top player in Ark. I am the top player out of the random 100 Ark players that it put me with. Now, at the end of a week, out of this random 100 Ark player list, the top 30 will rank up twice. Levels 30 to 60 will rank up once. The bottom people will not only not rank, but later on you will lose ranks by being in this bottom rung. So there are a variety of different ranks, and the goal, if you can, is to get to, of course, the Cantina Legend, which is only the top 100 players in the game. But it is important to mention that by participating in this system, you do unlock rewards. Like these little boxes right here, like you can get really rare blueprints. You can get really good items by doing these. But the good news is they're not that hard. It's not hard to do this. It may be a little bit harder to get ranked on the leaderboard, but it is not very hard to 3-star everything and get all the loot associated with it. Okay, is that enough for the first tips video? This is a high loot zone, so we really want to be making sure we search anything small can have some of the best loot, like little drawers. Oh, and a key too? Come on, man, are you serious? It's a surveillance key. Okay, so yeah, you always want to search these little things whenever you run by them. Yeah, that was an amazing pull off those. Wow, that was great timing on that tip.